These are PearDeck presentation tips to give you some ideas about the flexibility you have as a teacher to respond to actual students in your lesson. So first, you can advance the slides using either the forward and back arrows, or you can open up the slide deck there on your screen. One of the concerns that you might have is that as you show students' responses, so that's here, there's a button that says hide responses and show responses. When you're projecting and students see that their answer is up on the screen, they might be tempted to make their answer dance. So this is a draggable, and all students' responses would be layered right on this same image. So you can imagine if you had multiple students all making their image dance, what would happen then? You can simply lock screens, and that will allow or no longer allow students to change their responses. Just unlock it when you're ready to move on, or hide responses. So let's look at another type of a slide. We had one that might result in additional conversation in the classroom. So as we take a look at this slide, you can see, let's show responses. And this one would just show one student's response at a time rather than being layered. But perhaps when you see how students responded, you decide that this is a good time to ask a question you hadn't thought of before. Simply click the New Question button. This is right during class in the presentation. Add a new interactive question. You basically just ask the question to the class verbally, and students have an opportunity to type their answers. Again, if you show responses, you'll be able to see because this was inserted, there's no prompt on the screen. This would be for the teacher to share what question that you thought of in the moment that you wanted to ask your class. Again, you can add new questions. You could re-ask a previous question by going to that slide and asking it again, maybe to see what kind of responses you get a second time. You can go with a yes or no, an agree or disagree, thumbs up, thumbs down, a drawing. So there's all different opportunities. But let's say that the question was, what did you notice about the architecture? What are some similarities of architecture around the world, looking at that previous slide? That might be a long text answer or a short text answer. Now you could make it a lower level question by just asking students if they agree or disagree that there were similarities between each of the buildings. And that might look like something like this. So drag your dot between agree and disagree on the student screen. They would see this. And again, students would be able to drag their dot between agree and disagree. So this is a great little tool. Now, keep in mind, if you want students to be able to move at their own pace, because perhaps we're looking at math problems. Maybe you have students working on graphing and you decide to insert a couple of extra questions, give students time to move on at their own pace. You're simply going to use the turn on student paced option, and then students will have those menu buttons to move back and forth as they go. I hope that you found these little tips helpful.